Welcome to Seeing with Your Soul, the podcast aimed to inspire you to find your voice and become the best, truest, and most authentic version of yourself. Spiritually intimate, soul-to-soul conversations, life-changing insights, and spiritual teaching and healing. Real, raw, unfiltered. Join your host, Tisha Michelle.
Welcome and welcome back to another episode of Seeing with Your Soul with me, Tisha Michelle, your host. Oh my gosh, Happy New Year. This is the first episode of 2022. Like, yo, seriously, where did 2021 go? I remember saying that, maybe some past years before. I don't think I ever really meant it. Maybe I was just repeating, things that I kept hearing like, oh my God, this year went by so fast. But no. Seriously, 2021 was like, we blinked. Well, for me anyway, and it was gone. I was like, I remember being in 2020, right? Being in 2020 and dealing with the pandemic and this whole culture shock of things being shut down and having to wear a mask and, all of this stuff going on, thinking that 2020 was just going to be so long. And here we are in 2022. Whew. But you know what? I am grateful. And I am thankful that I can actually be here to record this podcast and saying that I made it another year. So I'm very, very, very grateful for that. So I hope you guys had an amazing New Year's Eve celebration, however it is that you chose to celebrate, whether it was getting lit and just turned up or just being very zen and low key. I just hope that it was perfect for you. For me, it was definitely laid back. To be honest, I struggle to stay up. I've been actually really tired lately. And I remember telling my daughter, I said, I want to go to bed. She's like, you only have 4 more minutes, like just 4 more minutes. And I felt like it was the longest 4 minutes ever. But, my daughter cooked, dinner and we chilled and we were setting to do intentions and vision boarding. And yeah, so it was just very, very chill. And I want to say I probably ended up closing my eyes at about 12:20-ish. Yeah. So I had some people texting me and stuff like right when I was getting ready to say, okay, I made it till it's 12:01 now. And then people were messaging me. So I sent those people messages back and I was like, I'm going to bed. And you know what? It wasn't that I was depressed. It wasn't that I was down. It was exactly what I wanted to do. Just be chill. Just be chill, grateful for the moment, excited for 2022. I talked about this before, if you've listened to other podcasts, where I stopped doing New Year's resolutions, years ago. And I stopped, I was like, this is stupid. But the reason why I said that is I wasn't following through with shit. I was saying, oh, I'm going to work out every day. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then by January 15th, I'm like, what I said I was going to do? And I was making all the excuses in the world. So I said, you know what? I'm going to stop creating these New Year's resolutions that I'm putting so much pressure on myself that I choke and I don't do anything because I'm putting so much pressure on myself, right? So that was a part of the excuse, like, oh, I'm putting so much pressure on myself and this is why I can't do it. But really what it boiled down to was I wasn't taking any action. And I also really wasn't clear on these things that I wanted to do. Why did I even want to do them? So I didn't have anything attached to it, right? Didn't have anything attached to it. So we're going to come back to that in a minute. So I know I already talked about what I was grateful for in this moment. What are you guys grateful for? Right? Really think about it. And normally I would, say, let's get grounded together and all that. But what I really want you to do in this sense is you can think about it right now. But when we actually get into what we're going to talk about today, which is, some journal prompting, I want you to get grounded before you do that. Before you get into doing the journal prompts, I want you to take your deep breaths. I want you to take 3 or 4 nice deep breaths just by breathing in through your nose, pausing for a little bit, right? And then letting it out through your mouth. Center yourself, ground yourself, relax that nervous system, and then express what it is that you're grateful for. And then I want you to dive into the journal prompts. Okay, so let's go back. So I stopped doing these resolutions because it just wasn't happening. So I then just started saying, you know what, I'm just going to just do whatever it is that I want, right? So I then filled it with that. And sometimes I just wasn't doing anything. And I'm not even really sure if that was what I wanted to do, which was nothing, or I was just thinking I was taking an easy way out. Then I shifted that to intentions. And I said, okay, what are my intentions, right? Now, I am someone that 100% knows and believes that just because the clock changed and reset to January 1st, of then the next year, that things don't just magically change without me changing. I already know that, right? But there's this concept that we look at this new year and we say, okay, it's a new year and this is new energy, or this is a blank slate. We get to start all over, and we don't really get to start like completely all over in some things, right? However, it is a belief and it's a thing. So if I believe that I have a blank slate now and I can just do over and I can just recreate or I can create, then that's something that I'm believing. So that energy that I'm going in mixed with that belief is like, okay, I'll do over. 2021 or whatever that year was a wash, or it was great. I'm going to build on it, or it was horrible. I lost myself. I struggled in these things, and I no longer want to experience that again. So as I'm stepping into this new year, I want to experience something different. So that's how I started shifting, looking at a new year versus saying like, oh, I'm going to do this, and putting all this expectation on myself, things that weren't really realistic. And the reason they weren't realistic because I haven't laid the foundation before then. So if I said, oh, I am going to work out 5 days a week, and I just came off of the energy where I never worked out, it really wasn't realistic for me because I hadn't laid a foundation. And a foundation is everything. If you don't have a firm foundation, anything that you build on top of it is going to crumble. So if I've never was working out, not even 1 day a week, and now I'm saying all of a sudden I'm going to work out 5 days, I'm not even going to make it to day 5 probably, which is why it will stop because there was never a foundation, right? So now had I had said, going into this next year, my intention is start to work out more to build off of the foundation that I laid the year before. And the year before, I was hitting the gym up once a week. Great. So instead of me saying I'm going to go from once a week to 5 times a week, I said, I'm going to do more. Well, what does that look like? I'm just going to do more than what I was doing before, and I'm going to keep building upon it. Now that seems a lot more realistic to me and my beliefs, right? In my mind, there's no resistance, right? But if I've never worked out at all, and now I'm saying I'm going to work out 5 times, I don't believe that shit. I do not believe that shit. So I'm going to put up a resistance because it's just not going to happen because that's my belief, right? So as we go from one year to the next year, and whether you're a person who sets resolutions or intentions, or you just says, fuck it, I don't even care, nothing is, whatever it is, right? Find something in that sense, like for you to hold on to, right? And the reason why I just say that is because I feel like it just makes life a little better, right? Where you don't have to feel like every day and every year is just a mundane and everything is the exact same. And you just don't see anything ever changing. And maybe you're playing like the victim mode, right? And I know you don't like it. I know you don't like that energy and the way it feels. So I'm just here to say that you can change that, right? You can change it, and you do it at your own pace, and you do it with words that really resonate for you. But whatever it is that you're seeking or you're saying like to do, it is going to be cause for you to take some action. And that action can look like many different things, right? So for me, there's something that I'll do, right? So I did it for this year, right? I got a bunch of stickies. I love stickies. I'll have stickies with affirmations all over my walls and the mirrors. And I did it for my kids, and there's some of them are still continuing it on their own with their own affirmations, right? But what I did on these stickies was I wrote the things that I wanted to do, right? I wanted to bring into fruition, not necessarily all for 2022, which would be dope if they all happen in 2022. However, if they all don't happen in 2022, I'm not going to look at myself as a failure. I'm looking at it like I'm shifting this energy, and these are the things that I want to experience. These are the things that I want to bring, into fruition and to bring into my life. And these are the things that are they're going to happen. And I don't necessarily know when they're going to happen, because I can still do all that I can physically do. And sometimes some of these things, it may be just a little bit early. Maybe the idea and the thing is planted here and it doesn't come to fruition in 2022, but it comes to fruition in 2024. But that's because in 2024 is when it was best being served and utilized for other people, where I was going to receive that, support. But what I did do is get it out of my head. So something that I did is I have a bunch of stickies on the wall, and I wrote everything that was in my head that I was thinking to do, like one thing. And I'm not going to name all of them, but I have like a deeper spiritual practice, release 20 pounds, less social media. I have on there, I need to repair my credit. And so I need to get that, but I've already laid that foundation, but I need to continue building upon that because it doesn't stop, right? I want this podcast, to hit 50,000 downloads, right? And I love the number 5. The number 5, represents changes. So 50,000 downloads that's so many more people that can get impacted, and so many more people that their perspectives may open up a little bit. And wouldn't that be amazing? Like if your perspective just opened up, that you were open to receive and understand that there's more to life than just existing. Wouldn't that be dope? So then I also have things like launch my journal. Now, this is something that was given to me as a download, I think in like 2019. Like I had the title, I had all the like things, and I started with it and I put it away and I started with it. And I'm like, okay, you know what? All right, I'm actually really ready to bring it to fruition. I'm not looking at my wall right now from where I'm at, but I want to have 60 billable hours, and that's on my home care business. Then I have some things for like real estate. I listed all these different things all on the sticky. So I probably have a good 30 stickies on my wall, right? So then what I did with that, because I got it out of my head, right? So once I got it out of my head onto the sticky, I then went through each one, and some of them I journaled about, and some of them I just sat within myself and talked about. But what I did was I questioned myself. You're like, why, Tisha? Why do you want a deeper spiritual practice? What are your intentions behind that? And then I wrote out what my intentions were and why that was, right? And I did that for everything. And then when there was something that I had on my wall that once I researched a little bit within myself of why I wanted to and what was my intention, when it didn't really feel good with me, I took it off the wall because the intentions weren't pure. And that is something that does need to be pure when you're looking to bring something into fruition, right? So if it didn't feel, it doesn't mean that it'll never happen. It just means right now it doesn't feel good for me. I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. And when I say the wrong reasons, for myself, it feels wrong. It doesn't feel good. So now that I've removed them, so when I'm going through those things and I'm saying, like, this is my intention, this is why I want a deeper spiritual practice, this is why I want to bring this into fruition, and it feels good for me, now I've attached the feeling to what's on the wall. And it's real now to me. It's real. And I know that I can bring that into fruition. So this is me taking action, right? That's a huge part of taking action, is getting it out of your head and then connecting to it to see if it feels in alignment with you. And once that feels in alignment with you, you've already made the conscious decision in your mind. This is mine. I'm going to make this happen. Right? So what I wanted to do with you guys today is I wanted to give you a couple of journal prompts that you can use to really just connect with yourself and connect like with your soul. Okay. And I don't know what you do for like your goal setting and stuff, but if you're open to it, maybe go ahead and try the little sticky thing that I said, put it up on the sticky and then journal about the thing, or just sit with yourself and talk about it. And, ask yourself, why do you want that? And what are your intentions behind it? And if it feels good, leave it up there. And if it doesn't feel good right now, then you remove it. And that's okay. right? All right. So with this journal prompting, when I said that it's all about taking action, we have to dance with the universe. We have to dance with God. We have to dance with our spirit guides, right? They want to help us, right? We have help along the way, right? As we maneuver through life, but we have to take the first step. And I like to say it's like dancing. I take the first step and then the universe takes another step. Then I take another step and then the universe takes another step. And then we just keep going back and forth. And now we're flowing and we're dancing, right? And you know what I'm saying? And it feels good because I'm moving and you're moving. I'm moving and you're moving. And we just become in sync and we become this one. And it's just a beautiful flow. And that's what happens when we take inspired action, right? So that inspired action can be journaling because we want to get it out of our head and we want to put it onto a piece of paper and we allow things to flow. And when we write this journal prompt and then we go to respond, trust what you're doing. Trust what you're writing. Don't try to make it all nice and pretty and worry about the grammar and the punctuation and all that. Just get it out of your head, get it off of your heart and onto the paper. So going back to what I said a little bit ago, before you start these journal prompts, I want you to take a couple of nice deep breaths and just calm that nervous system down. Relax yourself, get grounded, and make this time for yourself. Now, if you are not in a position right now to grab a notebook and a pen, maybe you're driving and you're listening to me and that's what you like to do. You listen to me in the car. Cool. You can still, rock along with it. Listen to the journal prompt and just allow it to just seep into you, right? Just allow that question to pop up. Maybe you're just answering it in your head and then you can go back later and you can actually write it down, and put it on paper, right? All right. So journal prompt number 1. So ask yourself, in this present moment, I'm grateful for. List what you're grateful for. It could be one thing, it could be many. Whatever it is perfect for you. The next one belief I'm letting go of is, what's a belief that you are letting go of? I know for me, one of them is the belief that I always have to be doing something to feel like I'm productive. That's just ridiculous. Now that's for me. This is it's my belief. I always feel like I got to be doing something to be productive, but sometimes just being very zen and chill and relaxing is productive too. So something that I've been learning over these past 2 years is that we give meaning to these words. Someone created what this word is and what that definition is. And I don't have to adopt that. So some people will say productive means like you're busy and you're getting things like done, da, 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 da. Well, productive is me doing something that feels good. And I'm okay with that. And if that means just laying in the bed and just chilling, and I know that I'm not depressed, I know that I'm not in a state of like where it just feels good to just chill and just do nothing, then yeah, that's productive to me. Okay? And that's for me. So what's one belief that you're letting go of? Okay, the next one is, one new belief I'm embracing is, what's something new? Maybe you were someone who always thought that you had to work hard for money, and that's something you're letting go of. And now you're looking to embrace, and the new belief is, I don't have to work hard to earn money. Maybe you have an affirmation of money flows to me easily and effortlessly and daily. All right. Another journal prompt connected to our soul is, one way I have grown is. And the beauty about taking action with these journal prompts, okay, like this one way I have grown is, it allows you to reflect back. And you may think about like, holy crap, someone said this, and about 6 months ago, I would have been all in my feelings. I would have been so defensive. I would have blocked them. I would have cursed them out. But in that moment, when they said that, I really stepped back and I thought, and I said, wow, they're projecting. Wow, this has nothing to do with me. Right? Maybe you noticed that, right? So when we're taking action, especially through journaling, we are disconnecting from everything else and we're just one with our thoughts and our feelings. And we get to reflect and we get to analyze and we're like, holy crap. Wow, I really have grown. All right, the next one, My body is asking me to. Your body will never lie to you. Your body will let you know when someone is not in alignment with you. Your body will let you know when you are off somewhere. You just have to listen. So really tune in with yourself. And if you're not really sure what this is, put your pen down and go ahead and put one hand over your heart and one hand over your belly. Take a nice deep breath in and then just release it. And then talk to your body. Say, what do you need? What are you asking me to do? What do you want me to do? And trust what you get. A lot of times, my body is telling me to move. Especially lately, I've had to do a lot more movement. Had to move my body. If I'm brushing my teeth, I'm doing squats. And I'm not doing that. I mean, I'm either dancing or I'm doing squats. And it's not for the exercise portion. It's just because I know I need to move my body. My body needs a lot more movement. It's been telling me that. And it's been kind of yelling at me like, get your shit together. Yelling at me like having lots of pain. And I need to move some of that stuff through. Or if I'm feeling in my air quotes stuck mode, I need to move my body. So listen to your body. It will never lie to you. The next one, I am taking responsibility for my life by. I've seen that a lot with a lot of people, and I was there before too. Not accepting responsibility for the role that you played in your life. Everything is everyone else's fault versus stepping back and saying, wait a minute. Like, oh my gosh, like this person that I hired, they were so this, they were so that. Okay, so we're going to step away from putting blame on them. What about you? How could you have done things differently or better? Did you leave the hiring completely up to someone else that maybe that wasn't their lane? Did you ignore some initial red flags just because you wanted to hurry up and get someone in? You know, how can you take responsibility for the role in your life? You know, maybe you're saying like, all men are this, or all women, if you're a man, or all women are this. And I just keep breeding all these people. Like, what is wrong with people? Can you step back and say, wait a minute, what is going on in my life that I am attracting people who ... right? Fill in the blank. Like, how are you taking responsibility for your life? Or maybe you aren't. And this journal prompt is triggering you and saying, whoa, wait a minute. I have been operating in victim mode for a really long time. And I don't like that. I don't like that. And when you can start to accept responsibility for the role that you played in your life, you have now shifted the power from other people and you have taken it back to yourself. And that, my friends, is a beautiful feeling. All right, the next one. I feel the happiest when do you feel the happiest? And I know some of you, it might not instantly be popping in your head because you may have been someone, and I've been there before, really didn't allow happiness in your life because you really felt like you just weren't going to get it. And you just settled for whatever your current circumstance are or was. And I am here to tell you that happiness is your god darn birthright. So really think about it. I feel the happiest when all right. So the next one spiritual practice I can begin to deepen my connection with myself is. So what is that? One spiritual practice I can begin to deepen my connection with myself is, are you someone who struggles with meditating? So maybe that's a practice that you want to begin that you know that will help you deepen your connection with yourself. And guys, remember, meditation is just not about sitting and being quiet and being still. Meditation is you putting a deep focus on something. Your form of meditation might be cleaning. Your form of meditation might be painting. Right? Your form of meditation might be going for a walk. That just allows you to focus on something. And when we do that, which we're meditating, it allows us to connect to ourselves a lot more because we've disconnected from everything else and we're putting our focus here, which then allows more space for things to drop in. Maybe your spiritual practice is you want to, start using Oracle or Tarot cards and using that to help build up your intuition. Guys, it actually is a really deep tool to use, for giving it in like the human sense, the human form, something that we can actually see that's just like now mirroring the way that we felt, right? So try it if you haven't. Just a suggestion. And so what's that spiritual practice for you? All right, the next one. One way I can consciously raise my vibration is, what is that? Maybe it's exercise for you. Exercising. I can tell you, exercise and dance will raise your vibration. Have you feeling good? Have you creating space to allow other things to come in? Maybe it's being in the sun more. Maybe it's going for a walk. Whatever it is, really think of it. What is one way that you can consciously raise your vibration? All right. And the last one that I have for you is, my soul wants me to know that, fill in the blank. What does your soul want you to know? It's kind of similar to listening to your body. When I say you can go and put, for this right here, instead of putting one on my belly and one on over my heart, I put both hands over my heart and I close my eyes. I sway from side to side. I'm just so zen. I'm just so relaxed. I am just so open to receive. And I just ask myself, I say, what do you want? What do you want me to know? What do you want me to know? Sometimes I get emotional messages like something as simple but yet powerful. Everything's going to be okay. And while that is just simple and some people can be like, that's pretty like vague, that's just like general, it's powerful, because when you know and you believe that everything is going to be okay, sometimes that's all you need. That's all you need to allow you to continue to move forward, to allow you to, look at things differently, just knowing that everything's okay. Sometimes your soul may tell you that it's tired. And your soul is tired. Your soul wants to be fed. Doesn't want to be starved. It wants to be fed. Your soul may say, I want you to know that you need to dance. You need to lighten up some. You need to have fun. I don't know. I don't know what your soul wants you to know. But that is something that I want you to connect to. And I want you to listen. Right? So once you have gone and you've done these, maybe you'll do all of them. Maybe you'll just focus on one. Whatever it is, this is you taking action. This is you taking inspired action by connecting to yourself. And then whatever it is, like if it's your body is asking you to do ... After that, and you've identified that, do it. I then want you to do it. That belief that you're looking to embrace, you're starting to embrace, maybe write it out as an affirmation. Write it out multiple times. Again, that's another form of you taking action. So action, like I said, can be in so many different forms. It could be you want to start a business. Well, I need you to just take some action. Well, what does that action look like? Okay, well, what business do you want to take? What does that business need? Okay, you need to go get a tax ID. You need to get your LLC or incorporate it. Then you need to go, maybe you want to create a website. So those are taking action and stuff too. And we're going to need that depending on the different things that we're looking to do in this lifetime, right? However, you can start by taking inspired action just by journaling and talking with yourself, getting it out of your head, getting it off of, your heart so you can see it and you can identify with it. So again, Happy New Year's, guys. And also on the 2nd, January 2nd, we had our first new moon, and it was a new moon in Capricorn. So if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, the first Thursday in January, you're still going to be feeling some of that energy, right? You're still going to be feeling some of this energy. So embrace it, guys. I love you guys. Until next time, bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Seeing with Your Soul. If something you heard resonated with you, feel free to rate, review, and share with others. If you are looking to go deeper, you can connect with Tisha Michelle on Instagram at Mindset Slayer or visit www.healingalignglow.com.